All right, how's it going, everyone? The lighting might be kind of insane on this video, but I just wanted to say happy holidays, because can't say Merry Christmas, guys. It's the wrong thing to do, dude. Fuck that shit. I've seen a bunch of people making videos about how, like, I'm not going to say Merry Christmas out of principle. And it's like, okay, buddy. That's fucking all right. Whatever. I don't think it's a big deal. Christmas is Christmas. To me, Christmas has never had anything to do with fucking Jesus' gay ass, so it has nothing to fucking do with me whatsoever. I'll still call it Christmas. It is what it is. Whatever. But yeah. It's a pretty good Christmas this year. I haven't had a good one in a while, but I got a new TV, got out of the frickin' 80s and 90s and shit with, the big building sized, tank tank weighted fucking TVs. Tried to carry that TV out of my room and just about snapped in half 3 times. So I'm glad to not have that TV anymore. This TV is like these LCD TVs. They're so freaking light. You could just and it'll float over to the shelf you put it on. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that. My nephew got a fucking snowmobile for Christmas. He was pretty stoked on that. It's a pretty new snowmobile too. It was really nice. I was like, holy shit, that's insane. He's only like 16, I think. Yeah, he's 16. I don't know my fucking nephew's own age. I do. I'm just kidding. He's 16. But anyways, this neck also is what I got, obviously. And it was a bitch to get it on here, but I couldn't wait. I was fucking impatient. I was gonna wait until I was able to actually coat the headstock and stuff and get it totally finished, but I threw some stain on. I was like, that'll seal it for now. That'll be fine. That'll work. I'm not gonna finish the back of the neck anyway, so I just left that. I mean, I put a little stain on it just to seal it a little bit, but you could tell it's lighter than the headstock and stuff. I just want to put some nitro on the headstock and then put a label, water slide decal on there, but you guys need to tell me what you think I should do. If you think I should put a real Fender, a Fender logo back on, or if I should, think of some kind of custom one to put on. I don't know what I would make if it was a custom one. I don't know what I would kind of call it, because I don't want to just call it a Franken Strat. That's just fucking stupid. That's Eddie Van Halen already has that kind of down, so I'm not going to steal that. But I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think on that. But anyways, this neck is the shit. I had to fill the holes in the back. I had to drill the holes 3 times for this because the first time, I don't know what kept happening, but I kept trying to get it straight, and I would clamp it and then go to market to drill the holes and stuff, and somehow it moved. And so I had to fill the holes. Finally, the last time, I just did it like the worst way you could possibly imagine. I just sat there and held it with my hand and drilled the holes through the guitar. I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm not doing this anymore. So that time I got it. And I had to bore out the holes for these tuners, because this headstock, for some reason, the holes were sized for vintage tuners. And I was like, that fucking blows. Why the hell would I put vintage tuners on this? It's a fucking nice neck, flat radius neck. It's more of a shredder type of neck. Why would you want to put vintage shit on it? But I bored them out because luckily my dad has a one of those drill presses. It's super old, super old drill press. And I don't know where he got it, but he had one of those, so I went and hooked that thing all up and drilled out these holes and then put these in. And these tuners are the shit, I gotta say. Like, they're really nice tuners. They're the Planet Waves Auto Trim, and I gotta say they're awesome tuners. You just stick them through, and there's this little lip on the end of them way up here, and the string goes through down at the bottom. The hole goes at the very bottom, and as you tune it up, the lip of this thing just clips the end of the string off, and so there's nothing hanging out of the tuning peg that's sharp. You can catch your your sweaters on or anything like that. So there's none of that. So I think it's way better, and it locks down nice. And I put the tuning pegs that were on the other tuners off of the other neck on this one, and just put the original ones on those back on, because I plan on making another guitar out of that neck, but that'll be down the road. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but I want to make a more traditional sort of Strat, with just all single coil pickups. But for this one, now that I've got this neck on, a nice 12-inch radius, oh, also I put these graphite string trees on there to kind of counteract the fact that these tuners aren't staggered. The other ones I had are. But like I said, I'm going to use those for another guitar. This one, this neck is so sweet and it feels so good that I almost want to switch out this JB Junior for an actual JB. Get a different pickguard that has the humbucker and just kind of swap everything over. And I have the JB pickup already from other guitars that I've taken it out to put EMGs in. I wanted to have a guitar with a passive humbucker in it, but for my heavier shit that I play, because I'm a metal guitar player. Like, that's what I play. That's my style of music. This guitar, I have it set up, to play all different kinds of styles, because I still like, just because I'm a metal player doesn't mean I don't like fucking around with other stuff. So, I have this guitar set in standard, to kind of screw around playing bluesy type of shit and clean riffs and things like that. But I want to make it so it's versatile enough that I can, put some fatter strings on it and then tune it down and use it as one of my main guitars, like as a backup or something if I need to, if I got in a different band or something. I just want the possibility there. As it stands right now, I wouldn't be able to, make this into a metal guitar. I can play metal with it, but it just doesn't have the kind of kick that my other guitars do, So I think a full humbucker would just be a little bit fatter, because it's kind of, this one's a little high-endy, a little bit. Yeah, it's just a little bit kind of, I don't know, trebly, because it just doesn't have enough space in between it. But I don't know, this guitar is just badass. I really, really love this neck. It feels really good. It feels more like my other guitars. I don't feel so odd when I jump over to this guitar, because all my other guitars have flatter radiuses. Some of them have like 14, some of them 16-inch radius, and the other ones have 12-inch radiuses, which is what I'm kind of used to. That's the standard radius I usually play with on my guitars. And yeah, this just feels a lot better. I had to round off the neck here, roll the edges of the neck, the fretboard here, just to make it smoother, more comfortable. And then I rolled the ends of the frets too, because they were a little sharp when I got it. They had done fret jobs and stuff on it, but not like full on. I like my frets nice and capped off at the ends, rounded off, so they're nice and smooth when you go over them. It's not, you're not catching on anything. You know, it's all about precision, speed, and if you're dragging up on anything, it's no good. So I really, really, really like this neck now, though. It's a good deal. I'm thinking about maybe getting some like Seymour Duncan YJM pickups or something, or maybe even like Antiquities, you know, the Texas style, because I kind of want something a bit hotter, because these just aren't, they don't have enough kick to them. I need more jangle, you know what I mean? Like these are all right. These are just the standard Fender noiseless, and my problem with them is the poles on them aren't staggered. They're flush to the plastic of the pickup too, so you have to lift the pickup way high to get, you know, a good sound with it. And the problem is when you have to put the pickup that high, when all of them are flush, if they're staggered, you don't have to raise the pickup up so high because the poles come up higher out of the pickup. This one doesn't, so it, you know, especially the middle one, I'm always knocking this thing, you know, but I still like to try to get that in-between sound. Well, I have it on distortion right now. That type of shit, but cleaner. I wish I had it on a cleaner setting right now, but I don't want to have to walk it back and forth between this amp over and over. I wanted to show you guys sounds and stuff, but they have this pedal that comes with these not Line 6, PV Viper amps, and but they're fucking expensive. They're like $199 for the smaller one, you know, something like that. I don't know. It's really expensive. But it is able to control more of the amp instead of me having to walk back and forth and do everything manually over there. You know, these amps, I kind of wish I would have got the Fender Mustang, because that's the one I wanted to get, but it was a little bit extra money, and you know, it would have been smarter to do it that way, because I ended up having to get a fucking speaker for this, because the Fender Mustangs come with a Celestion, you know, a nice Celestion speaker in it, so they sound, you know, fairly decent. And this one, the speaker that came inside this one was just awful. It was terrible. It sounds like you're playing behind a few inch thick cardboard wall. You know what I mean? It sounds like you're playing behind something. It's not, the presence isn't there. So I put an Eminence in this, you know, and I don't know how much it was, but it brought the sound out quite a bit. But still, I think Fender, you know, with the way they modeled the sounds on their amp, I think they did it a little bit better. I don't want to knock PV or anything, because I'm an endorser, you know, I love PV stuff. But this amp was kind of a miss, you know. For me, there's only like 2, maybe 3 tops good like distortion sounds, like usable sounds that are, you know, justifiable to use for, you know, jamming or something. But I don't know, it's an all right bedroom amp, but I mean, for not that much more, you can get the Fender Mustang and it sounds quite a bit better. You know, the clean sound on this thing is pretty sweet. I gotta say, it has a Fender Twin mode that pretty much trumps all the other clean mods on there. Like I said, like with each level, because, you know, you have like a clean leveling with each amp model that they have, You have a clean and then a crunch and then a distortion. Well, the crunch channel for all of the channels sucks ass. It's like the worst sounding fucking thing ever. And it like when you go to play it, it like jumps on after you hit the note. You know what I mean? It like, I don't know what the deal is with it, but the latency is like you hit it and then it starts coming. Like, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know. It's so you can't really use any of that. And plus they sound like shit. Like, they just don't have the right kind of gain on it. It's either too hairy or it's just, I don't know. And then the other channels, like the bass response doesn't make sense, you know? And some of them, the mids, like don't poke out at all. Even if you turn them all the way up, it still sounds like you're scooped completely out. I don't know. And it's funny too, because they have the PV 6505 and the 6534, the two models that PV has. They modeled it on here, and those are the two of the worst fucking sounding ones on it. It doesn't make any sense. The mainly the only usable distortion that I use is the one that I'm using right here, which is the British, and it kind of models sort of the Marshall JCM 800 tone, and it gets it all right. Like, of all of them, that's the better one, but it's still, there's still just, it doesn't have the kind of fidelity and the presence that a tube amp would have. I mean, because let's be honest, a solid state amp, literally all it is just trying to model the things that a tube amp naturally does itself. There's no reason to pick a solid state amp over a tube amp. Like, it's just ridiculous. You get so much more out of a tube amp and so much better tone. People act like they can't hear it, but it's impossible not to hear. Like, there's a few dudes that have done some like side by sides between a tube amp and a solid state amp, trying to see if you can figure out which one's which. And it's like, well, duh. The one with the more like high end, the one that is more present in the mix, is always going to be the tube amp. Like, they're just higher fidelity. They have more of a kick to them. They have more jangle. I don't know. It's just, there's more presence. Whereas with solid state, there always seems to be this element of like you're somewhat behind a wall with it, or you're like underwater with it or something. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like there's some kind of muffling going on with almost every single solid state amp I've ever played. The only ones that I've ever found that don't do that kind of shit are Randall. Randall solid state amps were pretty sweet, but I don't know, like, I've tried a lot of different solid state amps, and you just don't get the same kind of kick out of it as you do with a tube amp. There just seems to be a lot more punch and a lot more kind of bark to it. I can't really explain it. It's like I don't know. You just feel it more, you know what I mean? Like, when you hit a palm mute or something like that, it kind of jabs you in the chest a little bit, you know? And I like my sound, you know, especially my main tone in my like metal bands and stuff, you know, you guys haven't really been able to hear it that well because, you know, YouTube doesn't do that kind of shit justice, but the shit is just devastating when you're in the room with it. Like, when I palm mute and stuff, it hits you so hard in the chest, and it just kind of rumbles under your feet. Like, it's awesome. It'll shake the entire house if I turn it up, you know? So I love that kind of deal. And, you know, this is fun for at the home, but as far as like jamming and stuff, you know, but you want something cheaper that models a bunch of different things, I'd rather have the Fender Mustang amps, to be perfectly honest. You know, once again, I love PV, but not that impressed with this thing, man. I can get a few good tones, but, you know, I got the thing because it has all this modeling on it, you know, so I could get a bunch of different flavors. And, you know, going through them, it's like, wow, there's only like a few usable sounds out of this. That's fucking awesome. Whereas when I listened to the Fender one, there was a bunch of usable tones. It's like, fuck yeah, that sounds great. oh yeah. But I don't know, man. You get what you pay for. This is only like $40 less or something like that, and I would pay, you know, $60 more just to get the Fender one. So I am going to be doing more playing videos coming up here. I'm going to be doing a bunch of, I've went back and relearned a bunch of Slipknot songs, and I'm just going to do like a series of, you know, kind of, you guys maybe tell me, you know, if you want to see more of this kind of angle where I'm up in the screen playing so you guys can see what I'm playing, you know? Or if I should just do it my old style where I'm standing and just playing like I'm fucking playing. But I'm going to run through a bunch of Slipknot songs because I learned some really cool ones and ones that I never knew before and a bunch of the new ones. So yeah, that should be fun. And I've got some bitchin' tones that go with them too. Like Slipknot's got some fucking awesome guitar tone. I just love it. They kind of epitomize the kind of guitar tone that I like. The kind of just, I don't know, really devastating sort of chunky kind of throaty distortion, you know, sound. I just like that. That's my deal. I like really punchy guitar sounds and really percussive music, you know what I mean? I like when music kind of just hits you a little bit. So that's my deal. To each their own, you know, some people just like the little, you know, nice stuff. But I like that stuff too. I like everything, you know. I have this guitar set up so I can play whatever the hell I want to play, you know, like jazz and blues and all sorts of different stuff. And I go through it all the time. But I don't know. Metal is just my kind of music, you know. It's what I identify with. It's what I naturally turn towards. Like no one in my entire family growing up and none of my friends growing up were ever metalheads. I was the token metalhead. I just went that way. Like metal kind of came to me and was like, hey, check this out. This is fucking badass. You should check this out. And then as I got into more things like Metallica, you know, I started off in things like more mainstream like Metallica and then Pantera, and then it just kind of, you know, it went heavier and heavier as I went on. It was like, oh my God. But don't get me wrong, I don't like fucking death metal, okay? I'm just gonna say that right out of the bat. There's some like Cannibal Corpse stuff that I like, but as far as death metal as a whole, I think the style of music is just stupid. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. The mixes in all the death metal albums I've heard are just crap. Like the guitars, you can't distinguish any notes out of anything that they're playing. They almost have too much distortion. The singers, you can't ever tell what they're saying because they're always like, it's just, at least when in the metal that I listen to, like they try to enunciate their words and try to, even if they are screaming, they're trying, there's more clarity in it and I can actually tell what they're saying. Whereas in the death metal stuff, I'm always like, what the fuck are they saying? I can't tell anything they're saying. And I have to read the lyrics and stuff. There's some that I like though, like Hammer Smash Face by Cannibal Corpse. That's simply because of Ace Ventura. I fucking love that song though, dude. When I love that scene in that movie. That's the best. That was one of the first times I saw like metal on TV, and that's what I thought all metal was just the really like that type of shit. And it was like, and that's why I never got into it younger, like really young. And then once I started getting into heavier music, it was like, oh, okay, all right. I see what this is about. It's just about the intensity of the music. It's not so much about like just going and sounding as fucking just brutals. You've got all the brutals you can get. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be melodic too. So stay tuned for the videos that I'll be making pretty soon. I hope to be making them soon. I got to get my little like actual playing area all set up and stuff again, but stay tuned. Hopefully I'll be doing that right coming up quick. Peace.